Tequila Talk. What's up?
Talk. What's going on?
What's happening, DJ?
So Ben is back for Tequila Talk, and Jose has joined us now.
Yep, excited
for
to be
episode
here.
number 2 of this little series we're doing that kind of started off accidentally, and now we're here. So we got
accidentally on purpose.
so we got a lot of big stuff, big like more expensive brands here, and then some mainstream brands as well. I don't know a lot about these. I have some 1800 Anejo, and then I have some Dano's Dangerous 1800 as well. What'd you guys bring?
Well, I was in Dallas. I was looking for the Corralejo Extra Anejo because I'm like, okay, you know, God just shined on me. Corralejo make an Extra Anejo, but I can't find it anywhere. And none of the distributors have it yet. So I was at the Toys R Us for adults in Dallas, the wine and more place where it's just like aisles of liquor, and I was like, well, I'm going to try something that I haven't tried. And so this brand right here, this Don Roberto, apparently they've been around since 1924, and it's a family recipe. They would bottle it for other companies but they kept like their own private reserve back, and then finally somebody convinced them, hey, you know what, you should make your own. So I'm like, okay, I'll try it, and it looked really good, and also I'm going to try that, and that's all that I brought today. And then please.
I brought G4. G4 is a tequila. Of course, all tequila is out of Jalisco, but G4 is made by one of the Camarena brothers. And for anybody that's familiar with tequila, Camarena brothers are kind of Jalisco tequila royalty.
Okay.
So G4 just kind of stands for the 4 generations, and this is a very like family-oriented thing that they did with this G4. So I'm looking forward to trying it. And then Tears of La Llorona. I don't know much about it, honestly, and I should have done my research, but I felt like just trying it and going on like a kind of empty brainwave on what this is and just getting to experience those flavors as opposed to someone telling me what it's supposed to is what I was going for. Now, what I do know about it, there's a lot of hype behind it.
Bruh.
Big hype. Big hype. But I knew that, but I didn't know anything about the actual story or where it derived from or any of that stuff. So
you should have got my reaction when I first saw it, because then the people would be like, what?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're Mexican, okay, you're a bad kid, you don't do what you do, La Llorona's going to come get you. Okay.
Yes,
La Llorona was a lady who apparently drowned her children. And so, every Mexican mom and grandmother has that story in their back pocket.
Right.
La Llorona's going to get you. So just the name Tears of Llorona, it's like, it brings along this thing. And I have tried to find it in lots of different places. And I found it in Dallas, but of course it's very high dollar. This is a very high dollar tequila. This is the grand. This is the Dave Chappelle of tequila. Apparently, I mean, but being the hype, but a lot of it is because of how they make it and the aging process of it is 3 years. That they age it.
Multiple barrels, right?
Yeah, multiple barrels, so you get different flavors, and I don't think no batch is the same.
Okay.
But it's got a lot of hype behind it because it's very well made and it's hard to get, and it's in the lock case.
Right.
So anything in the lock case, you're gonna have to.
So no, like he said, like as growing up as a Mexican kid, I mean, Llorona, she's the Mexican boogeyman, So that's how your mom puts the fear in you, So the name is appealing, but like I said, as far as the actual tequila, I tried not to do much research other than what I've seen as far as the hype on it.
Well, I did not know. We briefly talked about it, but I did not know the magnitude of this. So I'm excited about trying that one. I drink tequila a lot. That's all I drink now. But I have some mainstream stuff today. I had Dano's. Dano's I've already had before. I've not had the Anejo yet. I've had the. They have a jalapeno pineapple flavored one, which is decent. And then I've had the other two, the silver and the reposado. But 1800, everyone's familiar with 1800. I've never had the Anejo of this. I've had 1800 on their top shelf margaritas or whatever it may be. But nothing too excited about mine other than I haven't had them and I'm going to try them and who knows. But I'm assuming this is probably going to be the best one. We'll see.
Well, we'll see. I see. And I don't know, because last time when we had our thing, right, we did a couple different ones, and I got this one, Volcan de mi Tierra.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a añejo that had been refiltered to become crystal, and it was wonderful. I mean, it was great, and I don't know if it was great because the flavor was great or because we waited. So I'm trying to think, okay, how do we want to do this? I think basically we should probably do the ones
Start with the low-level stuff.
We'll do the stuff that everybody knows about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we'll do like these two, and then these two, and then this one.
Okay.
This one
well,
last.
real quick before we start this, so to brief everyone, if you haven't listened before or watched before, Jose has a brewery here called the Seventh Tap. Jose and I have known each other pretty much since we were in grade school, and he actually is a beer brewery, has a beer brewery by trade, and no tequila's going on over there yet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
unfortunately.
we got talking to it on a previous show we did, just talking about the brewery and the process, and talking about how much he likes tequila, and your family's from Jalisco.
Yeah, so that's kind of like some of the roots right there. So my dad is actually from Jalisco, Mexico. So he is from a little super small town. I would say maybe like 300 people, called Santa Rosa de Lima, right there in Jalisco. So we're probably about 3 hours, right at 3 hours away from Tequila and Los Altos and all the region where tequila is made, you know. So, but it's just it's a family thing. It's, you know, they say Jalisco is the land of tequila, mariachi, and beautiful women. So that's I've always.
But are they beautiful because of the tequila?
Maybe.
Or
I don't know, man. I don't know. You know,
Well, because I'd say this, I've been Mexican my whole life, and I didn't start drinking tequila till I was 40.
Oh man,
That's what I was about to bring up. We segue right into it. So yeah.
Because once I started the tequila, it was like, okay, I liked it because it didn't require anything else.
Right.
Now I will say this: when I was in my 20s, my roommate, somebody gave him a gift, like a Christmas gift basket of some Jose Cuervo Gold, but it was like, you know, the kind you get at Hillshire Farms kind of packet, you know. And so he had it in his room at time, and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna try it. And I was like, I didn't really feel anything. And I drank too much, and it was like, okay, I never want tequila again.
Yeah.
And then when I turned 40, I started again, but I enjoyed it for the flavor. And I got to realize, and it's, I don't know about like with bourbon and whiskey and all this stuff, if they have as many varieties and flavors as tequila does. Because a lot of people think tequila is tequila.
Yeah.
No, it's not. I mean, it's so many different. It's like cigars. People say, oh, cigar. Oh, no, not some have.
No.
You know, but you don't want to be like, you know, one of those, you know, who's like, oh, I know everything about it.
Right.
No. Every one of these will get you drunk. Okay, so it's what you're looking for.
I mean, if that's the end result, but I mean, at this point, the way we approach everything, it's not for that, it's for the flavor and the experience. I've been drinking tequila now for the past 5 years. Before that, I was a bourbon drinker. But I got to where I enjoyed this better. I don't have the bad hangover the next day, but I'm also not shooting shots at this stuff. This stuff we have right here is primo, and this is not something you want to, you know, you're not getting a shot of Patron at the bar. This is stuff that's gonna to sip on and enjoy. So let's get into it, guys.
All right.
What are we gonna start with? 1800.
Start with the 1800.
All right, cool.
Yeah, let's do the 1800. And since while we're talking, I had the opportunity to visit Jose's shop last night. I took my family. We went over. We had my daughter. I'm not a beer drinker. Okay. And people are like, Mexican, you don't drink beer? Yeah. But cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Okay.
Let's do it.
It smells like Crown. Or paint thinner.
Kind of tastes like Crown.
Yeah, it does have a little
It's got a little bit of that.
bourbon whiskey on the
It
nose.
does. Now, do not. I guess I should have thought about this and looking at actually how this was barreled, but it definitely tastes like it was in whiskey barrels.
Well, that's the thing about añejo. Añejo means age.
Right.
Yeah. So what they did is they put it in barrels that were cooked with either bourbon or whiskey before, you know, to add more flavor. I mean, it's good. It's not bad.
I'm not
it's
a
normal.
fan. It's okay. I mean, it's okay. It's got a bite to it.
It's got a bite, and you get some oak on the back end, so it has that. Corralejo I like because when you drink it, you taste the agave.
Ooh, yeah.
But it's very good. It doesn't tingle your mouth. This will tingle your mouth a little bit more than I would probably like it.
I'm not a fan. I'll be honest. Not for what the 1800 brand has done.
Right.
That's for. I mean, I would say 80% of your franchise bar and grills use that for a top shelf, right?
Oh yeah,
That
top shelf.
Yeah. And it's not, in my opinion. But hey,
it's almost too big of a burn
I think it is.
to where you can't decipher any other flavors or any other type of.
Yeah, it is. It's too much of a.
Yeah.
It's like NyQuil
Yeah.
when you're 4.
Yeah, we're definitely going to go a different route. All right, let's go. Let's
try
go, Danos. Oh man, go ahead.
So anyway, I went to his place yesterday, and I don't drink beer. Okay, and there's a reason I don't drink beer. All right, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you.
I was thinking about it on the way.
My son loves this story. Now, when I was a kid, I grew up all over the world because my dad was in the military. And every summer, I'd spend it with my grandparents in Mesilla in Las Cruces, New Mexico. And, one thing Mexicans like to do is drink beer.
Okay.
Right? And, Jose. And so what they did, but they loved Coors. Okay? Coors and Coors Light. Well, this was back in the day when you had aluminum cans that you could get good money for when you recycled them. Okay? So all summer long, I would collect beer cans, because you ever come over to my grandmother's house, because she had this big 3-acre place with chickens and everything. It was dirt, it was mud. She lived in an adobe house. But everybody came over. My grandfather loved to drink, so they all drank. And so I'd collect them because my grandmother said, "Mijo, if you collect the cans, you can get money for them recycling." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So, all right, cheers.
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 That's better.
It's better.
There's some sweetness to
Ooh,
that.
I like that.
There is.
I like that flavor. See, that's that agave flavor that I was telling you about, like with Corralejo. You get that, and it's not too smoky.
No,
It's a
that's
mild.
good.
It's a mild.
No, it's a
mild,
lot.
nice-
This okay. I got the matchup here. So if you're a bourbon drinker and you don't have any, like a lot of people don't drink tequila, right?
Right.
They'll have a margarita,
Yeah.
or they'll shoot shots like we were talking about.
Yeah.
earlier. Okay, I would say this 1800 is your man. It's your old charter, and I would say this Danos is probably your crown. It's still not amazing, but it's a lot smoother.
Smoother.
Yeah.
Definitely pick up some sweet notes in there as opposed to just heat and oak in your face.
Yeah, and it's very smooth. It's actually bright.
Yeah.
It's bright in the sense of citrusy. It's not so smoky like the other one. It's got a nice thing, but like I said, you can taste the agave in it, which is really good. I like that.
Bottle number 2,939. I don't know out of how many. Most of those Anejos, they do, 3-year aging on those?
Yeah, that's pretty much the requirement is that. So I said, okay, well, cool. I'm gonna collect the cans, right? So every time somebody would be done drinking their beer, I was like a little valet. I'd pick it up, and I'd go out there and I'd stomp on it and I'd throw it in a can. And do you remember a long time ago? Maybe they still do it, but when you'd go to a party and somebody would have a keg, they'd have a big old 55-gallon drum, like a plastic drum, and they'd put ice in it and the keg in there.
Yeah.
Okay. So we had 2 of those, and they were yellow. They said Coors on them because I guess my grandfather was such a good buyer. They gave him big old, garbage pails of it. So I filled those up. Took me all summer long, filled up 2 of them. Okay, smash cans. I'm like, all right, this is money. So one weekend they were killing a pig or something like that, and it was like, okay, so all my uncles were there, like, and I kept asking my grandfather, I said, when are we gonna go recycle cans? Ahorita, we'll do it later. And so finally, that day, he's like, okay, let's go take the cans. Vamos, let's go take the cans. All right, good. Everybody's drunk. Of course, this is back in the day when nobody cared.
Yeah.
So calm down, everybody. So we're all riding in the back of the truck. We're rolling. And I'm thinking, okay, this got to be good money. So we go there. We get to the place. They take them off. They put them on the thing. The guy unloads them. Make all the noise, and I'm just like, yeah. It's like this is like a deer. This was my catch. And so the guy's like, okay, weighs it. And he takes money out, starts handing the bills to my grandfather. I'm like, oh yeah, dollars are better than pennies. And so I'm thinking, oh, he goes, puts it in his pocket. He looks at me, and goes, okay, let's go to the store. I was like, all right, let's go. So I'm spending the money in my mind, like, okay, if we go to Toys R Us, if we go to Kmart, I'm getting a bottle. If we go to TG&Y, I'm getting this. So I'm thinking all this stuff. It's like, all right, we're driving. Everybody's happy. All of a sudden, we pull into a place I know. I'm like, the fucking Coors plant. They took my money to buy more beer.
Hell yeah.
So the smell of beer to this day upsets me. And
how old were you?
I was between 8 to 10 years old. So, it was like, I was so mad. I'm like, I saw my grandfather take the money out and buy more beer. I was so upset.
Man.
I was like, that was like telling me you're gonna take me to Disney World and then take me to Six Flags. So, but that's why I don't like beer.
I hear you.
Well, I mean, that's a legit story, I guess.
Yeah.
Plus, I don't like the flavor. But I mean, other than that,
I'm still waiting on Jose to brew something with tequila.
Yeah, so we're looking into that right now, where we want to do order some barrels. It's a big thing. Like for people that aren't super familiar with the craft beer industry, and it seems a little weird to people when you say you're doing a barrel aged beer.
All I kept thinking about yesterday when I went to his place was like, today on how it's made. You know, and it was really, and their operation is simple, but it's perfect.
Yeah.
And that's what I love. I love an operation that's simple. It's done well. It's very efficient and it's very clean.
Yeah.
You know, and I was blown away by the sheer engineering that goes with it. You know, and he showed me, their first little cans that they used to brew beer in, and I love a good story. Yeah, I love a good story. And I will tell you this, on a Thursday afternoon, that was a great place to be.
Yeah.
Because although it was quote unquote a bar, it was not a bar. Nobody was trying to get picked up. Nobody was wanting to fight.
Yeah.
You know, nobody was arguing with their spouse. It was a great place to be, and I took my family with me. And people had dogs. I didn't know. Next time I'm taking my dog.
Yeah.
You know, and it was just a really nice environment.
Yeah, and it's one of those things too that you battle with sometimes, where people associate you with like nightlife and being a bar, and it's like, no, we're a craft house. This is this is something.
Now, when did that become popular? When did was that?
It's more popular in these bigger cities. I think Shreveport, like anything, we're behind on stuff. But I think people are like getting more familiar with stuff. And we pride ourselves on being a family-friendly place, somewhere you can bring your pet-friendly, family-friendly, somewhere to come have a beverage, have a good time, not necessarily going somewhere to just binge drink and
and there's so much space. And then you guys open up the little garage doors and it opens it up even more, and my grandson loves it, the Miss Pac-Man. You just push one player and it goes, and he was like, let's do this. But it was I really, really enjoyed it, and I thought, you know what, this is a nice place if you just want to meet somebody. Hey, let's get together. That's a great place to go, because first of all, it's a public place, but second of all, there's space. It's bright. You know, it's not like you're meeting somebody in some crazy place.
It's not super intimate or anything. It's really inviting for every. It's casual, and then also you typically have some authentic Mexican food going on there.
I had some last night, bro. I mean, so authentic. Even I was like, "Órale, this is what is it? Is this hominy? What is this?" I mean, it's like I didn't even know they made that fruit here.
So
we're excited about it, because I remember last time we talked, just over a year ago now, that you're still trying to work it out. You guys have been open since then.
And we're in it now, man. I think we're like 5 months in, so it's been crazy. We're still figuring stuff out every day. It's wild, but it's been a fun ride, a busy fun ride. But
so what is this one
being
pouring right now? Ooh.
Oh, sorry. I'm pouring like a pouring for me.
That's fine.
Sorry. Now, I will sit down. Fair warning, I've never tried it. I've never tried the brand.
It smells sweet, though.
I've never tried it. So, salud. Let's see.
Cheers. That's good. That's like that, similar to the last one we had that was really good. The one you were mentioning earlier.
Yeah.
It's got that little chocolate on the
Yeah,
end there.
this one's not as chocolatey, but it has that cinnamon kind of hint to it. It's really nice. It
lingers a bit too.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
It does.
and it's so funny, because when you talk to somebody that's at a liquor store, or a place that sells this stuff, you don't know what to. Like, I couldn't work in a store like that. I would always have to ask them, okay, here's a question. Do you want to tell your family what you really think about them, or do you just want to have a nice little buzz?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Because everyone is so different. And also, too, I've noticed, and I think we talked about this last time, my body and my personality react differently to each brand of tequila.
Okay, well,
very true.
Well, I haven't went that far in investigating, but I have gotten to where I'll make like a simplified version of a margarita at home. Like, I don't use all the sweetness and all that. Basically, just lime juice, a hint of like maybe some agave, ice, and your tequila base. And then I'm still not drinking a lot of it straight, because it's like one of those things where, man, I feel like if I have a amazing tequila and I'm just sitting at home drinking it by myself, I feel like an alcoholic. I feel like it needs to be some like position like this, to where we're actually enjoying it together socially. But at the same time, it is different. The buzz you get off this, versus something like that, which most people can attribute to the silver tequila in a mix.
Right.
I like the smell of it too. It's not. It's not deep. You know, it's not dark. It's not a dark smell. And most of the time, añejos are dark. They have a dark, almost like a cigar. It's almost like a coffee kind of like that. That's like your pee's gonna look like that after you drink that.
Your
So
1800 is dark, son. Like I was like, man. Oh, I'm glad we got that one knocked out of the way first.
I like when you're able to like discern certain flavors on the nose as well, not just the taste. Like there's some that you smell them and you're like, okay, that's just you get bold flavors, and then the taste is nothing like that.
Yeah.
I like that on this one. You know, you can smell that sweetness.
Yeah.
That's gonna.
I feel so amateur. This guy's like specializes in tasting hops and beer. And you are on point on all these things too. And I'm just like, yep, it tastes good.
Yeah, it tastes good, man. I taste the bubblegum flavor. Yeah, man. What is it?
I would say like just from talking. We met yesterday officially for the first time. Just from talking to him about tequila, like. I know very little compared to, like,
so I'm the alcoholic.
No, for me, tequila is one of those things where I love the history about it, obviously, and it resonates with my culture and my upbringing, and where my parents are from and all that stuff, and just getting to. I love the research aspect behind it too, as to where this tequila comes from, what distillery made this, blah blah blah. And I think that's part of with tequila. It's part of where we're losing it sometimes now because it is too commercialized at times.
Well, then you have all these big brands like you have. I was gonna get numero one Juan. That's Ron White's tequila. You have The Rock has Terramana. You have all these people, and that tequila's not bad.
Right.
I like it. I enjoy it. But like everything's getting commercialized because these people know that they can pivot and they can leverage their audience and make something. Buy an old family brand out. I think that's what The Rock did. Bought an old family brand out and just boom, mass produce it.
Ron White's brand, his A Million to One, that's actually Regalo de Dios. That's actually a brand out of Jalisco. And my daughter brought me a bottle back when she went on her honeymoon. They went to Mexico and they went on a cruise, and she brought me back a bottle of it. It's very good.
Yeah,
it's really good.
I almost got a bottle out here today. I wish I would have.
It's a bit overpriced. The Ron White brand,
right?
But it's the exact same bottle. It's just a different label,
right?
So to me, it's kind of like, okay. So what you're saying is this is not a Nissan. This is an Infinity.
Yeah.
It's the exact same product. You're just putting a different label on it. So to me, things like Tears of Llorona and these brands and the companies are like, look, Corralejo, we make our own tequila for us.
Yep.
Nobody else makes it. We don't sell it to anybody.
Yep.
We don't. This is our thing. I mean, I don't like Mexico. I've been there many times. When I was a kid, got bed bugs. Yeah, that was great. I don't necessarily like visiting Mexico, but I do want to visit Jalisco. I do want to go to Corralejo.
Yeah.
And the thing about this, and one thing we all have to realize, all three of us in this room, we're all artists. You're an artist because you create beer for the palate.
Right.
You're an artist because you create social media. You create things that people are drawn to.
Yeah.
I'm a visual artist with my paintings and stuff like that. But everything here is also created by an artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So us sitting here talking about it is like being in a gallery and appreciating. Whereas I remember one time I was in Roswell, New Mexico with my family, and we saw this giant painting on the wall of a powwow. Gorgeous painting, and on one side of the room was the powwow, in the fancy dancing, and then on the other side there was just some guys in jeans playing cards and drinking. And my dad asked my sister. He said, "My sister don't listen to this." My dad asked my sister. He goes, "What do you see in this painting?" My sister goes, "Indians." He goes, "Okay, Indians," and he goes. She says, "Indians dancing," and I was like, "Oh my God, okay." So what I saw was you had those who are trying to keep the traditional part, and you had those who are trying to go into the new world and say, you know what, we're not part of this anymore. That was my grandfather's stuff, that was my dad's stuff. I don't want to be a part of this. I'm my own person. So how I believe that the artist had many different meanings behind the painting that he did, and that's what he wanted people to see. And when I create a painting, I want people to see. Some people say, "Oh, I like the reflection of this and that. I like how you brought this out of it." And every time I do a painting, every piece I'm working on, I think that's the only thing somebody's going to look at, which is a bad thing because you spend a lot of time on painting. Right. But when you create a beer, when you create a product, you're thinking, okay, I can taste this, but is it too strong? well, is it too strong for me, or would it be too strong for somebody else who hasn't touched it? When you create something, you're like, okay, has that been done too many times?
Yeah.
Have too many people seen that, or am I creating something unique?
Yeah.
Right.
So in what we're doing here, I think it's definitely an appreciation of the art
Right.
by artists.
No, I agree. I'm behind. I'm still trying to catch up on this class.
Oh, this is so
It is good. It is good.
This is Don Roberto. Okay, I got to go back and tell the
I
white guy.
hadn't heard of
That
this
was
one.
good. Oh, this one?
No, the
the Don Roberto?
Yeah.
Well, here's the box. It's got a box. It's got a story.
Oh yeah, you sent me a photo of that.
Yeah, I sent a picture of that apparently because it said, the family's best kept secret was a premium production of 1924 tequila they are now sharing with the world. So, Don Roberto Platinum Tequila is for you, la gente. Make you feel good about it. Put it in the box.
And see, like I've never been to Tequila Jalisco. That's like on my bucket list things that I want to do. But the reason I want to go is, there's brands we recognize that are there, of course. But I want to go and explore those small mom and pop operations
Hell yeah.
that are probably producing some world class stuff with some,
Basically Mexican moonshine is what you're talking about.
Some techniques that have been handed down to them for generations.
Yeah.
That stuff that we hadn't heard about,
Yeah.
Sign me up. I'm down. Let's
Yeah.
make that.
Dude, seriously, don't tease me.
I'm
I'd do
serious.
it.
Don't tease me.
Y'all let me know.
I will go.
I have a passport and everything. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Okay, I need a passport. Let's see, how many years has it been? Yeah, I can go. All right, bro.
Let's do it.
Pour it up. So this is a G4.
G4.
Now, is that the same guys that make the Camarena tequila, like
So-
the Camarena brand?
That is his brother.
Okay.
So I guess there was the dad, who's the dad would have been second generation, I guess. And then they do Camarena and then Ocho.
Okay.
There's an Ocho something, and they do that. And then he broke off because, not necessarily broke off, I kind of read up on the story where he's still very involved with their family, but he broke off to start his own kind of thing, like right next door, because the family lineage was kind of getting bigger, so he kind of wanted to leave for his kids specifically. So then that's when he came up with this distillery, which is El Pandillo.
Okay.
So but yeah, it's Camarena family.
Okay. And this one's a reposado, right?
Reposado,
Okay,
yeah.
so we're gonna go a little bit lighter this time before we
Yeah.
get to the final, last two things. But
That'd be a good palate
I will
cleanser
say, like with Camarena, and anybody that's listening that hasn't, that's probably a good idea. Let us pour our own, huh? Anybody who doesn't, ooh, that's fruity. Anybody who doesn't know about tequila, if you're gonna go buy tequila, you don't have to spend a lot of money on tequila. Just make sure you get 100% blue agave. Just make sure it says 100%.
Not made with agave.
Not made with. Just make sure 100%. Because you can get a good bottle for $20 of just good tequila. And what problem is people are like,
El Humidor is one of mine.
Cheers.
Luna Luzos, another good one. Those are the
Azul.
cheaper silvers. Yeah.
that's strong. It's like a wave.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It hits you hard at the front, and the back is just smooth.
Yeah, and that's like,
completely opposite from that first 1800.
it's like a smack.
That was
Yeah.
soft
hits
first
you
and hard. At the
Yeah.
end.
And it's very bright.
It's so crazy just taking the time to format these things.
Yeah.
Man, for real. Like I hear people talk about they don't ever do it with tequila. Man, that's why I wanted to start doing it. Like they don't do it with tequila. They do it with bourbon all the damn time. It's like,
right.
I mean, I don't know. It's just
Well, and this is nature's lie detector too,
Yeah.
because you drink enough of this, and you're gonna tell,
Yeah,
you're gonna speak the
tell it all.
truth. You're gonna speak the truth about everything.
Well, you were talking about that earlier too, and what I was getting into is that Cordolejo that you'd given me, the Anejo.
Mm-hmm.
It hits hard, and even like my wife doesn't drink anything straight, but I've converted her to tequila too, and that's all we drink. Okay, well, I was like, taste this. I tasted it in the house straight up with the cube of ice, and I was like, this is great. Taste it. And she tasted it. She was like, damn. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get fucked up. I got to sip on this. It went down way too easy.
Well, and that's the thing too is I remember my son just moved into a new place in Dallas. He's living at the Flatiron District at Austin Ranch. It's a beautiful place. It's they call it resort living. It's kind of like living on a Disney property. because it's all these different neighborhoods inside this one complex. And there's shops and stores and, you know, coffee houses and pubs and all this other stuff, you know, and it's all there. It's a great place. And his first night, we went and bought some Cavalli Pizza, which is my favorite pizza place. If you're ever in Dallas, go to Cavalli, because I lived in Italy, and this is what pizza tastes like.
Never had it.
It's exactly what it tastes like. I'll bring you some back next time. I know. In fact, I'm going next weekend, so I'll bring you best one back. So he moved in there, and I bought, I bought the silver, the silver brand of this one, and I said, you know, we're gonna cheers your new place. So I put a little cup like this, right? And he's like, I'm like, no, dude. He's like, I was like, no, dude, you sip it. He's like, why'd you tell me? But it was really good, and the thing I like about it too is it's not, you don't need a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like I like, in my art, I like overkill. In my drinks and everything else, I like simplicity. In my recipes, I like simple ingredients. You know, in your beer, I tasted simple things, but they were unique. Each one was unique.
Right. I think there's a beauty of like finding simplicity in certain things. And the thing with simplicity too is that you'll be able to recognize quickly when something's gone wrong.
Yeah.
So if you can
that makes sense, yeah.
If you can taste the quality in simplicity, then you know it's done right.
You have 100 different ingredients in one brew. Like, what do you do? Like,
You can, like the more you do with something, the more you can mask stuff. So when you are keeping it simple and, you know, kind of doing, you know, the traditional right thing, if you do make a mistake, it's easily
It's
exposed.
funny now how we evolve, because simplicity is almost an art at this point. We're at society where everything's so much overkill.
Right.
We appreciate the simple things. Look at, like in the marketing world, look at In-N-Out Burger. They have 3 menu items.
Yeah.
$1 billion, you know, company. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they have 3 menu items. You can't fuck that up. You know, like they make 3 items amazing instead of having 50. You know what I mean? That are all mediocre.
But it also makes it simpler for the consumer.
Yeah.
Because you go to some place that does, you know, 19 different hamburgers. You're like, okay, do I want the chorizo on it this time?
Yeah.
Do I want the thing, you know?
Yeah.
So, and plus, from a production standpoint, we make it all, and all we do is add different things to
You
it.
just make that amazing. Those few products,
And I think that's one of the things, like, that you can relate it back to tequila, that there is a simplicity behind it, there's tradition behind it, and that's what people don't recognize because it is so commercialized these days.
Yeah.
Certain brands, and then now you have these hybrid tequilas and all this other stuff that's kind of going crazy.
I'm not big on it. And what's interesting is I like a brand I've never heard of.
Right.
Because and in talking to some of the people that work in the industry, they tell me, you know, there are, you know, warehouses full of great tequila, but no distributors.
Right.
You know, so you've got all this great untapped stuff that's in there that nobody had the money. Like, no offense to this, it's a great tequila, it's a great brand, but why? Because they have money, they have advertising money. You know, you'll never see a commercial of this.
No,
you'll never see a commercial of this.
No, you won't see on a Cortalejo either.
Right? No, you won't.
I was amazed whenever we tagged the last show. Ben had made a glass out of the bottle for me,
nice,
and we tagged it and put it in the thing, and they liked it and commented on it. And I was like, shit, they're not that busy. You know, they're not spending a lot overkill on marketing. The product's amazing, because I went back and looked. I'm like, they don't have that much activity just trying to promote product. They're more about the holistic version of what they're putting out.
And there's something to it, because I feel like part of that, the mainstream of tequila, is what has driven the growth of mezcal. Because mezcal is still a very, you know, unexploited kind of industry.
Explain to everybody what mezcal is, because some people are like, oh, it's tequila. No, it's mezcal. Well, what's the difference? Go and explain.
Tequila, from my understanding, I'm not the hugest expert on this. It's made from the maguey plant or the agave plant, and you use the piña, which is basically the root. Mm-hmm. But from my understanding, tequila is steamed. The piña is steamed, and in mezcal, it's roasted.
Yeah, so it's like it's more smoky version. I've only had it one time. We'll definitely, next time we do this, we'll definitely have to get some.
Mezcal talk.
Yeah.
See, and that's the thing. Like, I've never dabbled into the mezcal. I know my buddy Kyle and then Rodrigo over there at Key Mexico. Yeah. He is big into the mezcal, and I've had some conversations with both of them about it, and I'd love to dive down more into it, because my experiences with mezcal have been just smoke in my face, and it's just like,
Now, I've had one mezcal and it had the worm in it.
Okay. Well, I've had it in a few craft cocktails, and if you go to like some higher end places, well, I say higher end, not in Shreveport, Louisiana. If you go anywhere that has craft cocktails, we really don't have that here locally.
Right.
Like around the DFW area or whatever it may be, or Austin. There's a lot of craft cocktails utilizing mezcal now, so it's getting more hype.
Right.
And you're seeing that in more like a smoky mixed drink with like some darker fruits in it.
Yeah. So I'd love to learn more about it. Just what a good mezcal should taste like, tasting notes, or like be able to distinguish the difference.
And here's the thing too. It took me, and this is interesting. When I first discovered tequila, I went the 1800 route. I went the special blend route. I'm like, okay, let me try this different thing. Let me try this, and nothing ever seemed to work as far as like, okay, the recipe says I need to pour this much of this much of lime, this much of this, and I've experienced. I've tried Kool-Aid in tequila. Which is not bad. Believe it or not, it's not a bad thing. Just depending on what flavor Kool-Aid you use. Yeah. V8 juice.
Tequila in a Bloody Mary is amazing, by the way.
Is it? Okay. So
yes.
And that's probably a great thing. The tomato and
vodka with yes.
Okay,
amazing.
good. And so it took me a long time to try different things, but I was never afraid to try something different with my tequila and create new and exciting things, because that made it. If I drink this with lime juice, it's going to taste different than if I drink it with lemonade.
Yeah.
And so a lot of it is finding that the exact recipe that gets you where you want to go.
You said your first experience was with Jose Cuervo.
Yes.
And what was yours, Jose?
Probably Jose Cuervo.
I think go ahead.
And then it's either Jose Cuervo or there's a tequila called Centenario, which at one point when I was younger, and I mean like 14, 15, I used to spend my summers in Mexico. Okay. So I had friends over there in Santa Rosa, which is like three hours outside of Guadalajara. Okay. So we would go to, just a little store. We're like 15 years old, and we'd buy bottles of Centenario, and that was like, and back then, so it's crazy how tequila, like now Centenario, you can find it in Shreveport. Yeah. I mean, when I was 14, what's that, like 16, 17 years ago?
Beautiful label.
Yeah.
If you ever get a chance to
I don't know if I've had that. I'm sure I've seen it, but I don't know.
Beautiful packaging.
And so now I don't want to say the quality has gone down, but it's more mass produced. Yeah. It's more readily available to people. But to me, that tequila from the memories will always have a special place in my heart. Mm-hmm. And so, like Dallas, if you go to Dallas, you can buy a bottle of Centenario for $25. Okay. And to me, that's still I always keep a bottle of Centenario in my house. It's my go-to for. Mm-hmm. I don't drink any like tequila cocktail. I mean, I'll drink Palomas. That's like the only thing I will drink. Yeah. Don't do margaritas or anything like. I mean, sometimes maybe you're a Tex-Mex joint, I might do a margarita, but. As far as like if I'm at the house sipping tequila, it'll either be straight tequila or it'll be a Paloma. That's it.
I'll tell you this: if you're tight on money, listeners, the silver brand of tequila at Sam's Club,
yes, it's great.
is not a bad tequila.
It's not bad, dude.
And it's $19 for 1.75 liters. Okay. And their little $8 margarita, already pre-mixed margarita with a tequila in it. If you add that, maybe put another shot of tequila in it. It is a decent. Don't drink too much of it, because you drink too much of anything, you're gonna get sick. But it's a very good substitute for somebody who's like, well, I gotta have the Don Roberto, or I have to have this, or I have to have that. It's a very good. It's mild. Mm-hmm. It's. I'm guessing it's what a beer drinker looks for whenever they go home and they have a beer.
Right.
Yeah.
That's to me is what I see. But that's a really good thing. So you don't have to spend a lot of money on it. You can, do it. But, if you're going down to Miami Beach for spring break, you're going to get what you get.
Yeah.
And that's the thing where it gets a bad name too.
How do you feel? Like, I want to ask, like, how do you feel about like silvers in general?
Okay, silvers. I like silvers for mixing.
Yeah. Because
the flavor doesn't, like, I can mix a certain product, whether it be, juice or nectar, or I've even done pear nectar. It was really good. But if I mix it with silver, it doesn't change the pear too much. If I mix it with reposado, it like makes it a little bit, it's like, oil and water. It was not the right thing. So silver I like. if I'm going to mix it with something else. If I'm just going to sip it and enjoy the flavor, it's always a reposado or an añejo.
Yeah.
I rarely will
Right.
mix that.
And the reason I ask is because I feel like there is some negative connotation towards some silvers. Because I feel like there are some silvers out there from these big brands that are quality, extreme quality, and which I think what people like the public can't relate to it, because when you think of whiskeys and bourbons, you're thinking barrel aged, and I think sometimes people don't realize that with tequila. Yeah, the barrel is big. We want the reposado, we want the añejos, extra añejos, but it's also in the distilling process, where there are some distilleries in Mexico and Jalisco that are making some, grade A stuff that might have not touched a barrel, but can still be,
Yeah, I mean, there's
the quality behind it is
there's
there.
a handful of really good silvers that I enjoy. The Luna Luzo, however you pronounce that.
Yeah.
That one, the El Humidor. There's another one similar to that. Also, the Terramana's really good.
Yeah.
Like for a silver, that one's really good. I enjoy it.
Now they just came out, I think, with an añejo.
But you can't find it yet. I can't find it anywhere.
Can't find it.
I've been looking for it.
Yeah.
I would
Okay,
definitely
so I'm sitting here going, okay, let's open
let's do it.
some Tears of Llorona and try that out, because
Do it.
this is like Christmas morning to me.
We're talking about first impression on tequila. So the first one I ever had was Monte Albin or Albin. That was horrible, man. It was so bad. It had the worm in it, and that was my very first experience with it. Since then, it definitely.
That's the
got
one
better.
you get and then just mix it in the margarita bucket.
Yeah.
And just
Yeah, it was
It's
bad.
like jungle juice or something like that.
Yeah, it was so bad.
Let's see.
Oh, did you hear that, people? Did you all hear that?
Switch my own glass for that.
Yeah. We're getting a big pour on this one.
All right, Precious, come here.
Put these low levels to the side over here. All right, let's do it. Last two raw here.
You have to really search for it.
Yeah.
It doesn't pop out at you. You have to really search for it. All right, gentlemen. The moment I have been waiting for that I didn't even know I was waiting
Cheers,
for.
guys.
Let's do it. Yeah, that's good. That's really good.
There is a smokiness to that.
But it carries the whole way. It carries
Okay.
smooth the whole way. Go ahead, what you got?
2 words. Christmas fireplace.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? It's got that home warm, the fire, that smell of the fire when it's dead.
Yeah.
Like when you came back to it, you're about to put it, you get that smell, but it's warm. And it goes to the side. And people, I don't know if this one attacks your taste buds in different areas.
It's everywhere. It's
notice that?
wetting the side of my mouth.
The back side, right? You feel it? The back of your tongue?
Yeah.
Dude. Oh my goodness.
So there's, like I said, I tried not to do any research about this.
Now, see, one thing I do is I like to collect tequila bottles. I have a collection. And again, I like the Corlejo bottles because I can make glasses out of them because it's so thick. I can cut them. But I have all these different bottles, and that's kind of like judging a book by its cover. Sometimes I'll judge a tequila by the bottle.
Yeah.
Because honestly, it's not cheap to make a good quality custom bottle.
No.
It costs much. So it's like, okay, are they putting more money in that, or are they saying, okay, our product is so good, we want to present it to you like this? Or are they saying it sucks, so we're going to try to put it in a good package? My daughter, I tried a tequila the other day that she sent me a picture of. She got in at a Kingston Market, which actually has very good Mexican food if you ever get a chance to get there. And it looked to me like Mexican moonshine. It was just something like this plain green bottle. I'm like, what is that? It doesn't even have like a label on it. It's just like molded into the thing. She's like, it's good. That's what it is. I was like, okay, I'm going to have to try that.
Yeah, I'm definitely. I've never been there. I need to go there and check it out.
You should.
I
Go
need to
breakfast.
also. They
Breakfast
they
is so
carry
good.
our beer, so I need
Well,
to get by there.
oh, do they?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude, that's awesome. And congrats to you guys. Y'all are getting the product out there moving around. I like how these guys release a new beer every fucking week, man.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
It's just like they're just rolling
It's
through.
and we're so small that we have not so small, but we're the perfect size that we have that capability. And now we're trying to expand into the distribution game.
Yeah.
So it's slowly but surely. Like right now, we're pretty much local establishments.
But that's smart.
Yeah.
You were smart. You
Yeah.
said, you know what, we're going to build a reputation.
Yeah.
Because even if we don't make it on a national level, we still know we have people here that enjoy our stuff.
And that's the thing. Like I wanna grow, but I don't want like a forced growth or like a overwhelmed growth.
Yeah, or
like,
sacrifice quality.
Yes, because when does it
spin up, mass produce something just
right.
because that's what the distributor wants, that one product.
Yeah.
And in my industry too, and at least with Laser's Edge, with what we do, we used to do everything by hand. We used to make all the cartridges on our own, do everything by hand. But now it's gotten to the point where the difference between price and quality is so vast that somebody's willing to sacrifice the quality just for the price. Yeah. And so when you get to that, you think, okay, is this the market? Is this the game I want to keep playing? Right. Because just like you wouldn't sacrifice your product to save a couple cents per can.
Right.
Because that's your name. Yeah. That's your legacy. Yeah. You wouldn't sacrifice what you do, whether it's your fight promoting, your network marketing.
Too much shit.
Everything. No, you do. Yeah, seriously. I get tired looking at I'm like, good dude. I need to go to nap. I take a nap. I mean, you wouldn't sacrifice it because it has your name on it. But once you bring people in that are like, oh, you know what? I like your product. It's a good product, but I think we need to expand it. Well, the only way we can expand it is if we reduce the quality of this or that. Okay, well, let's do that. Right. Well, in our business, we had to get to that point where we said, okay, do we want to get the stuff from China? Well, if we don't get the stuff from China, we can't stay in business in that product, that specific line. Well, guess what? We're getting out of that line then.
Yeah.
Because what's going to happen is you can sell to somebody for 10 years, everything's perfect. You sell them one bad thing that really upset them, that's it. And some people don't complain, they just don't buy from you anymore.
Exactly.
I mean, and that happens. And also, the good thing about alcohol, though, is most people find their brand and they stick to it. Yeah, that's the one interesting thing about that. So if you can convert someone, especially you in a craft beer world, it's like there's so many out there now. If you have one distinct flavor they latch onto, and you just convert them from like a Coors Light to a small, simple craft or whatever it may be.
And that's the thing with us, like as a craft brewery, like we were just like we go crazy with a lot of stuff, and we do a lot of one-off beers. We do all these multiple beers. But we always wanted to make sure that like there was always those brands, which is like our Don Pablo, which is our Mexican lager, our Waves, which is our sour ale, that those will always be there.
Yeah.
Like
dude, your sour ale, oh my God. I was like, okay, whoa. I mean, it was.
So did you try some yesterday?
I tried some. Yeah, I tasted some.
I don't remember which one I had. It may have been that one. I don't know, but
I think you tried Faux, the coffee stout, the golden stout.
Yeah,
we call
that's
it.
the one that I tried. That I'm just not a beer guy either. I have no specific reason other than I just enjoy tequila more, and I don't like being full.
It does.
That's true. This and that's the thing too is this has as far as like I don't think this has any cholesterol. It doesn't have cholesterol because it doesn't have artificial sugars.
Yeah. Right.
If you get something that's made with agave, they use artificial sugars in it to make it, to last it, to make the alcohol come out of more. So, I'm not saying it's healthy, but if you're gonna drink something, just make sure it's 100% pure agave.
Well, if you do the research on types of liquor, and of course, putting alcohol in your body more than you should is definitely not a good thing, no matter who you are. But if you do your research on multiple different types of liquor, you'll see that tequila's on probably the top of the list of something that's metabolized easier. Comes from a plant, which everything else comes from like a hard carb like a potato or a corn. Or you have this is coming.
Now, question: like with beer, okay, you obviously put yeast in it, right?
Yep.
In order to do. Okay, they do the same thing with tequila. What's the difference between fermenting beer and fermenting tequila?
So when you're dealing with tequila, we both deal with the fermentation process or whatever. So our fermentation process, after our fermentation process is done, we're ready to carbonate, all that stuff. With their stuff, once the fermentation process is done, now we're going into distillation, which is a whole nother process. So you have not only that, you have another chemical process that has to occur as opposed to just, what we do. So it can be pretty similar. Obviously, with tequila, there's less stuff that goes into it. Like we use malt, grain, hops, all that stuff. Our water is a big thing. I think, when you're dealing with tequila, I mean, you're dealing with good quality water. Of course, they do that. But then the quality of your agave, which for people that don't know, like with tequila, it's always the blue agave,
Right.
the agave tequilana.
Right.
And that's one difference when we were talking about mezcal, that mezcal can be made with different variants of agave.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, to me, and that's kind of like when macadamia nuts. Okay, that's really the only thing I can compare it to. Macadamia nuts from Costa Rica and Brazil do not taste the same as macadamia nuts from Hawaii.
Well, no, it's the climate and the soil and everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So tequila coming from Jalisco in the valley that comes from, it's a volcanic valley, right?
Yeah.
So you got that soil, you got that volcanic soil, which is real rich in nutrients. So you're able to make that type of a product in one place. It's kind of like in Italy. Like where I lived in southern Italy, they make olive oil. Of course, they make olive oil everywhere, right?
Right.
Well, olive oil everywhere. I can taste the difference. I can taste the region difference in olive oil. The Puglia region where I live, the olive is very dry. The land is very dry, but it's not like Naples where you had Vesuvius, where everything is kind of, you have that volcanic thing, so it's very rich. The flavor from the olive oil from where I lived has a nuttier, aroma to it. So I can smell an olive oil from where I used to grow, where I grew up at, and I can go, boom, I'm back there.
Yeah.
Because that olive oil smell. And not only that, the food that I cook it in, the flavor in it becomes better. The bread I use to make it all becomes better. So a lot of it is definitely has to do with the uniqueness of that's the one place where that's the only place in the world where you can get that kind of thing. That's the only place you can get that.
It's the region,
I
And
think-
there's something like that in beer where, like the hops we use, like there's Australian hops, there's, some that are, they grow hops, like Oregon, Washington, that whole area is a big, big hop area. And then there's different variants of hops. And sometimes you could have the same name of hop per se, but this version is like an Australian version. This is an American version, completely different profile because of the region. And I heard this, don't quote me on this, but this is what I've gathered through my research, that mezcal is actually older than tequila.
Well, that's what I was going to ask if any of you knew the origin of either one of them.
Okay, so...
Okay, what it was the okay, all right.
Yeah.
So the Aztecs, no, actually, I think it was either the Mayans or the Aztecs were the ones who developed fermentation of the agave.
Yeah.
But they use it in their rituals.
Yeah.
They sacrifice people. Why? So the sun would rise. Okay, but still, they learned how to ferment it, and it became. And I think that, and my goodness, I can't remember it, but tequila is actually derived from an Aztec word for something else, and I don't have Jimmy to Google it for me.
Yeah.
But that's basically where it came from, was the Aztecs and the Mayans who had fermented it, and they used it as for ceremonial, for getting closer to God. Or
Yeah. So they were just drunk. They weren't like.
Yeah.
Hey, I feel like we all get that way sometimes.
So-
Not complaining.
Like, I think more modern times or whatever, and again, modern times, I'm talking like early 1900s, late 1800s, where mezcal, I think, was a more prominent or like a bigger thing. And, mezcal mostly comes from the Oaxaca region of Mexico. And I think what happened is when tequila kind of made is they were trying to recreate mezcal in Tequila, Jalisco, and it took on the name.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so they were like, okay, because they were only using the blue agave, the agave tequilana or whatever. This is the scientific name behind it. And I think that's when it blew up and turned into what we have today, which is tequila.
And nothing can be called tequila by law unless it comes from that area, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is crazy that all of these different brands of this, bottled liquor comes from one area.
Yeah.
And it's hypersensitive and specific to that one plant.
Well, you know what? It's interesting because there's a lot of industries like that. For example, when I was talking about the pizza from Cavalli, that's a Napolitani pizza, which is from Naples. Okay. Well, there's a board of certification that you have to have a certification order for your establishment to be called that, and then you have to use a certain type of semolina in your wheat. You have to use a certain type of. You have to use buffalo mozzarella. You can't use any other ingredients, and the tomato sauce has to be a certain way. The oven has to be a certain temperature. But in a sense, if I go to a place and it says they've got that seal, I know it's going to taste like I want it to. Because I go to a lot of places, I'm like, hey, you guys have like a real Italian pizza? Oh, yeah, we got it. Yeah. Dude, this is Pizza Hut, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, so everything's got its own thing.
Well, it's interesting, too, because, like, in your craft beer industry, you have a lot of people who do, like, beer pairings, right?
Yeah.
You have wine pairings. I need a tequila pairing because I feel like tequila's only eaten and drinking, like, eating with Mexican food
Right.
in a margarita in a Mexican restaurant. Like, where else do you just sip on a good tequila like this and mix it with, like a good meat? Like, I feel like a good anejo like this and a good steak would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. Like,
Well, here's the deal. Like I would not mix, and this is kind of a juxtaposition, but I don't mix Mexican food with tequila.
Okay.
Because the spices in Mexican food, the flavors of Mexican food, can either make this taste too tangy, or make it taste. It'll alter the flavor. A good steak with a little bit of butter, a little bit of garlic, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper.
Yeah.
With that, perfect. Yeah. Because you're not overpowering your senses. You're not like the enchiladas I made for you. Do never drink them with tequila because there's gonna be too much going on in your mouth. You can be like, oh, doesn't taste right.
But that's just the misconception, right? I mean, people that you go to a Mexican restaurant, you get margarita.
Yeah.
And it's like that's not the.
That's
best.
what makes their food taste better.
Yeah.
Because I've gone to places with and I've had a margarita and I've had their fajitas and it's like and I've not had margarita and I'm like.
So I'm with you on the tequila food pairing, but my visualization of it and like my imagery onto what would make it perfect would be a more super traditional Mexican meal, and we're talking like rustic, earthy. Because what a lot of people don't know is that like Mexican food is actually not as overpowering, and there's no all these cheese sauces and chili sauces.
Yeah, that's Tex-Mex.
That's So in my mind, I'm picturing like just a kind of simple traditional Mexican.
Yeah. Well, what we need to do is when you get that beer brewed, tequila, then we should do a pairing.
We should.
We'll do a pairing with it. Because I almost made you some beans with those enchiladas. Because I get these beans. My aunt sends them to me from Colorado, but they're a special bean that they get in Colorado. But what it is the juice that the beans make is so good that it tastes different from any other kind of bean that you can get. And I'm trying to remember the brand of it. And when I remember, I'll send you a text message on it. But I make my own beans.
Yeah, nice.
I like to boil them, and I don't refry them. I put them in a food processor and I mix them up. You don't have to have oil. You don't have to have all that stuff. You don't. And to me, beans.
Well, I like it better that way too.
Beans are not gravy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
And I've been to too many Mexican restaurants around here where I'm like, these are the beans. This is brown gravy.
But that's everywhere. And the thing is, what I love is you can see who's in the kitchen by if you ask for charro beans.
Yeah.
If they don't have that, leave. You know what I mean? Like, because I would definitely rather have that than some refried.
Yeah.
And rice. I can tell you this: I have spent years trying to replicate my grandmother's rice recipe, her Mexican rice recipe. I have not been able to. I still can't do it. I have everything written down on paper. She showed me how to do it. My mom showed me how to do it. I still can't get. I'm thinking, okay, is it because I'm doing it in a nonstick pan? Is the water I'm using? What is different? Like when I make tortillas. Okay, that's one thing I have been trying to make. I can't make real tortillas. And my grandmother used to make tortillas every morning. Yeah. If I'm eating your grandmother, and that's the kind. I like a tortilla that's when you bite into it, it's got a bite. It's not thin. It's got a nice little, at the end, you feel it. And my grandmother used to make that all the time. So I've tried to do it, and then I put it on the comal, and I heat it up, and I'm like, okay, it's still not right. And it's a simple recipe, but for some reason, it's either I don't have the heart that she had to do it, I don't have the right, product, or I don't have the right manteca. I don't know what it is, but I can't.
There's an art and a simplicity to it, man. Like I said, I would spend my summers in Mexico. So to this day, the one meal that resonates to me forever and ever and ever and ever, to me it's the greatest thing. It was so simple. And so we live in a small town, and my grandparents live in a small town in Mexico, so we would spend our summers there. My grandmother would wake up at 4 a.m. every morning. She would grind the corn down, and she'd have this little, like, legit, like, open fire. She'd build her fire, put her comal in there, and she'd make handmade...
For those who don't know what a comal is, you explain that.
It's kind of like a cast iron, big piece of cast iron. So she would do that, and that was every morning. She would make the corn tortillas for the day. And my grandfather, he has like a beekeeper. He was a beekeeper. So we would eat for breakfast. We would eat a handmade, fresh corn tortilla with honey and queso fresco, like legit
fresh.
homemade.
Crumbly?
Yeah.
Oh my
Crumbly.
God.
So it was like that sweetness with the, the tartness of the cheese and the homemade tortilla. It was like the best meal ever. And like, I picture that, and like when you were talking, I think there's sometimes, and we go back to simplicity. Like when something's done right, that simplicity just shines through.
Because I tell you, I can, and I still can. I can't make the chorizo con huevo that my grandmother made either. I use the Peyton's chorizo. I use this. I'm like, okay, did I not mix it up enough? Was the temperature not right? It's like, okay, it's not the right texture. It's not the right color. But I will say this: she used to. One thing I love, and I've told you this, DJ, but to me, I've always believed in the saying that family is who you cook for.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's not about who your father is, who your mother is, who your blood. None of that. Family is first of all who you're loyal to, but also who you cook for. And my grandmother, I love her chili beans. Okay, and I use New Mexico red chili. She used to use New Mexico red chili, beans, salt, pepper, chorizo. That's it. That's all she and hamburger meat in her chili beans. And I remember I flew in from Hawaii one time, and I came in and I got in late, and she's like, are you hungry? I'm like, no, not really. She goes, I can make you some chili beans. And I thought she meant I can heat them up for you.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, oh, I would love some chili beans, So she goes in there, and all of a sudden I hear the manteca in here in the pan. I'm like, Grandma, what are you doing? She's like, I'm making chili beans. She took the hamburger meat out of the refrigerator, was frying the hamburger meat, making the chorizo. Then and of course, there's always a pot of beans on the stove.
Yeah, there is.
There's always a pot of beans, so that's not. You don't have to worry about that. And she put it, and she made it for me. And to me, I was like, that woman. Although I didn't know it, I knew it. That woman loves me.
Yeah.
That woman, and it's not about, I want you. No, it's like, let me do something for you. Let me show you I love you in a way.
Well, that's why I think what's amazing about all three of us, why I love you guys, we appreciate the little things.
Yeah.
You love to cook, I love to cook, Jose loves to cook, and and then you also like think about the process of how you make your beer and stuff like that, and people just take that stuff for granted. And you go to a lot of these really amazing destinations like Rodrigo's place in Mexico. They take pride in everything they put out.
Right.
Everything's quality product.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of process behind that, and I just think that art is missing to where we don't get to display that as much. Like, I'm all the time posting what I'm cooking because I'm putting a lot of time into it and I actually give a shit. I'm not just going to a restaurant taking pictures of stuff. Yeah, I do that sometimes, but when I'm cooking something, it's because I'm trying something new or I'm trying to perfect this one thing.
Right.
And,
but here's the problem with today.
Yeah.
Okay. I will tell you this. I want to try Key Mexico. I really do. I want to go there. And this has nothing to do with Key Mexico, but you can find places that people will have a quote unquote bad experience.
Yes.
Okay. Because their server did this or they were just upset about something. So they decide they're going to get out there and they're going to just tell the whole world about it. That does so much damage to a place who's just trying to present a good meal.
Yeah.
Right.
Because somebody had a bad experience. And this is a person who's like, remember back in the day, it's like, I'm going to write a letter or I'm going to post. That's basically what they're doing nowadays. And I find that a lot of places have to, I'm part of a group because I love, food. So I'm part of a local group, people go eat there. And sometimes there's a post about, my server was this and that. I'm like, okay, but how was the food?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Tell me about.
And I hate that pretentiousness behind food because also I think some people associate, and you could do it with tequila. I mean, it's Tequila Talk, relate it back to tequila. They associate quality with what they paid for it.
Yeah.
And that is not the case at all.
No.
I've had some of the best meals in my life in like a street cart, where it's just like
Mickey's hot dogs, bro.
Yeah, dude, those were amazing.
$6.
Sam's Club, $1.65 for hot dogs.
But it's the experience. Like something always tastes better when work was put into it, right? Instead of just throwing a frozen something on the grill.
And like I said, I spent my summers in Mexico. Some of the best meals I've ever had was just one guy cooking tacos on this little cart, and there was a simplicity to it. It was just meat, your cilantro, onion, and a salsa, and it was just the most bomb meal you could ever have in your life.
Yeah.
Cost you like $2 for like 6 tacos, and it was just
It's
the
kinda
greatest thing that I had ever tasted.
Yeah, it's kind of like Ono's. I love Ono's, okay? I love them as a food truck.
Yeah.
And then they open up a restaurant. And I stopped liking it because the food changed.
Yeah.
And why did it change? Because it became corporate, because other people were making the decisions. Not the guy who actually worked so hard to get the truck working to actually make food for people. Some other company came in and said, let's do it this way. And so to me, I stopped. I'm like, okay, it's not what I like. But now they're a food truck again. So now when I see them, yeah, I'm going to get the food. Why? Because it's the flavor of the food that I like. And it's not necessarily that I want to go to a restaurant. I want to do it. I want the food. I want the flavor. It's the closest thing to Hawaii that you can get here as far as, actual food. Now, they have kind of southerned it up a little bit, but, it's really good. It's good food, and they're good people.
Well, I mean, I think we have in society, we've gotten back to like the craft beer, the craft cocktails, the food truck thing. It's still something that's trending. It's cool to do. It's cool to take pictures of. Why is it cool to take pictures of? Because it's art.
Yeah.
It looks amazing.
Yeah.
When it comes out, every piece of that food looks like aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
When you get a burger at McDonald's, it looks like shit. You know what I mean? Like when they hand this to you through the window, it's like, holy shit, that looks amazing. I don't even want to eat it. It looks so good. And it's the same thing with relating back to these bottles of tequila. Like we know this price is not everything with these things, because I think a bottle of this Danos is $60. Okay. What was this?
It was about 60.
Okay, so and look at the difference,
or
the 1800, the same price. Look at the difference of the amazing.
But I will tell you this: I will kill you for this bottle of tequila right here.
Yeah, that shit is
because
good.
This is amazing. Now, I won't kill you for it, but I would rarely think that you get what you pay for when it comes to certain things. Some things like, okay, it's all marketing. There's zero marketing on this product.
Yeah,
it's very expensive. Why? First of all, it's incredible. Second of all, it's limited. It's hard to get.
Yeah.
And third of all, because this is something that you can. This is an experience. This is not. Oh, let's have a drink. No, this is an experience.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm sure people think, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. That's alcohol.
I'm savoring it still. Do you want to get a little bit more, Jose? Do you mind?
Yeah, let me
a little bit more.
Yeah,
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to Dallas next week, and I don't know what I'm buying.
Well,
I'm getting me a bottle of that.
it still amazes me that when it hits the palate, how moist your mouth stays a good 5 minutes after one sip.
In the nose, I can pick up. Again, I didn't research it, but there is another. And all I know is that there's the multiple barrel thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's some type of sweet barrel that they use.
Yeah.
That's not I don't know if it's like a brandy or
It could
something.
It could be a brandy,
a cognac or something
but
like.
It's not. I don't know, man. This is so. I'm gonna try it against this 1800.
Oh, dude. Oh.
I want to. Just
Okay, yeah.
Do y'all want to?
No.
I mean, I want to.
'Cause I know.
I know, but I want the comparison.
Okay.
Like right behind it. I want to hit this and then hit that. So this horrible ass 1800 Anejo. And look, nothing against you guys. If you want to sponsor a podcast,
And I guarantee
I
you-
will give people this shit, but I'm not drinking.
This
it.
was not expensive. I mean, this was expensive compared to what it tastes
$60.
like. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not good. And nothing against these guys because their silver's great. I'll drink their silver.
Yeah,
it's
this is
fine.
good. $35 for their silver.
Yeah, if they were worried about advertising, they'd make this a little easier to read. Like it's just.
And it's in English, right?
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Well, the front,
How drunk am I?
Yeah.
the front is in Spanish, huh?
When you can read it,
Yeah, the
that's
front
when
is
you've
in
had
Spanish.
enough.
Maybe one of y'all can decipher that. I don't know.
I can't decipher that.
All right, so here goes 1800.
Here's 1800.
With
Yeah. You know what this is going to be like?
The
That's going to be
lower-
like jumping from a cold swimming pool into a sauna.
or the advert of a sauna into ice bath.
Yeah, that's.
Oh God.
It's like chewing on a
Lot of-
Band-Aid.
look,
huh?
now I can taste after we drink all this. Now there's a hell of a smoke on the front end of that.
Yeah.
Like there was so much char on the barrels that they used.
Man, it's like it's night and day.
Okay, now I have to try.
You got to do it.
Yeah,
Y'all got to do it, man. It's night and day.
All right.
Might as well. Like it's just crazy the difference.
Thank you, sir.
Smells like glue.
Yeah, dude, that's like drinking rubbing alcohol now. Yeah, like
Oh.
Hey, it's not
Like
as bad
looking
as-
at telephone pole.
It's not. It tastes almost like the tequila whiskey mix I brought on the first show. It was fucking horrible. I still have that bottle somewhere.
Wow. Okay, this is weird. I hear music. I hear music when I listen. You know why? Because to me, and this is kind of weird, everybody's got their favorite time of day or week or something like that. To me, Sunday afternoon is my favorite time ever. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I traveled so much as a kid. When we go visit my family or stuff on weekends, we always had to drive back on Sunday. So it was bittersweet. I get to go home, but I have to say goodbye to my grandparents. I have to. So Sunday afternoons. So anybody who knows me knows that my favorite time is Sunday afternoon. It's when I love to spend time with family. When I love to paint. When I love to work outside.
Yeah.
To feel it. I love to listen to Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder's Sunday afternoon. This is Stevie Wonder and Sunday afternoon
Okay.
in a cup.
Yeah, Sunday afternoon is great, man.
So I guess, I mean, trust me, when I bought this thing, it hurt me inside.
I bet that's a lot. That's a lot of change for something you don't know if it's good or not.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. This, although it costs that much, you're not going to drink this much
Right.
in one sitting. You'll drink this much in one sitting, but you'll appreciate this in this.
Yeah. Yeah, because
But
you got to think, like, this is all three of us drinking out of it.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And I
feeling
mean,
great.
like for me, like just the monetary value on like sharing an experience with other tequila lovers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's worth it.
Yeah.
And
Right.
like someone
What's
that
it-
appreciates
I
it.
took all my family to medieval times, right?
Yeah.
Dropped like $400. Okay,
Yeah.
it wasn't even about it. The chicken was dry.
Yeah.
The potatoes.
Yeah.
My
The
grandson screamed and yelled for the bird and the horse and the night. And to me, looking at him, watching him have a great time. That's why I was there. That's why I did it. I don't care what it, it's not about what it costs. It's about the experience that I got from it. And something like this is not something you drink by yourself. This is something you say, okay, I have some friends over. We're going to do this. Everything else you can drink it by yourself and just enjoy your afternoon. But you don't drink this just because you're cooking steaks. You drink this because you have some friends over and you go, let me tell you a story.
Yeah.
Have this.
Try this shit.
And that's pretty much what it is because you save it for you, man. Thank you for bringing that.
No problem, man. I'm glad
I have
I'm glad I
waited.
found it.
Yeah, my son actually almost bought me a bottle one time for Father's Day. He's like, okay, Dad. He's like, I was thinking about getting you that one tequila, that the Llorona tequila that you were looking at. I'm like, mijo, don't, thank you. Just spending time with you is my greatest gift. But he knows that I've seen that. And then when I finally decided I wanted to buy it, I went back to the place that had it in Shreveport because they had the smaller bottle for like $100. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna commit, because I want to taste it. I said, couldn't find it, and then I find it in Dallas, and the stage was like, I said, I'll buy that for you if you want. I'm like, no. And what's funny, we love Legos, okay. And we're going way off tangent. But this is a good story. So I'll tell you something about my son. We love Legos. When he was a kid, he loved Legos. He wanted to buy the Indiana Jones Lego set. It was $80. Okay, he was 12 years old. He's like, that's so much money. I was like, well, then write Lego and ask him how come it costs so much money. You know what he did? He wrote Lego, and they wrote him back.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
And they said, Sage, thank you for your letter. We appreciate your inquiry. The reason that our product costs is because we spend this much time in research and development. We spend this much time in product. We spend this much time in things in order for you to get a quality product. We would love for you to be a member of our Lego club, whatever. So they gave him a membership into the Lego thing. So what did he do after he got that letter? He went and he bought that Indiana Jones set. Why? Because he realized the value in it. So we always go to Lego store. Well, yesterday he sends me a text message. He goes, here's the new thing. And it's the Titanic. It's
Holy shit.
$700.
Holy
okay?
shit.
Right?
Probably as big as this table.
Exactly as big as that table. Well, he was going to buy me the Colosseum because I love the Colosseum. My favorite Lego set was the Taj Mahal, which you can't find anymore. But he was going to buy me the Colosseum, and I said, Bear, I call him Bear. I said, don't buy me that because the only reason I like doing Lego is because I get to do it with you.
Yeah.
Because we get to build it together.
Yeah.
If we're not building it together, I don't
And that
care.
goes with anything.
I don't care.
That goes for anything. Cooking, working on vehicles, doing, just anything. Experience, all those things are. It's so important, but it's value. Like people do not appreciate what they get for free. right? Isn't that funny?
Dude, life experiences these days,
Yeah.
people don't want to value that, and it's just like
but because it's free,
Yeah.
right? But when you put a price on something, people seem to pay attention.
yeah.
Oh
So,
yeah.
like, sometimes-
I wouldn't spent this much money. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
and so it depends, right? So like sometimes you have to put a price on something to catch someone's attention, and then avert from there. But I mean, and it goes different ways. Like there's stuff that you pay for, and you're just paying for it.
Right.
Like, but spending money on experiences to me is extremely important versus spending money on a product.
Right,
But this is a
right.
product and an experience, like you
Yeah.
said earlier. It's not just drinking it. We're not
Yeah.
taking shots. You know what I mean?
It was weird because we walk into what was it? It was a Total Wines in Austin.
Okay.
Yeah, Total Wines in
Total.
Austin.
Yeah.
And my buddy Rob, who's a huge bourbon fanatic, like that's his thing. He's good at it. He's got all these like the Pappies, the Wellers, all that stuff. Like he's into it. He said, "Hey man, there's this tequila that's been popping up in the bourbon groups," and I was like, "What is it?" Clase Azul. And I was like, "Oh, okay, I know Clase Azul. Whatever." By the way, the price on that has skyrocketed as of late. So he sees. So we're in the. They have the glass display for the nicer tequilas, and they see the Clase Azul. He sees the Clase Azul. He buys 2 bottles. Again, he's a bourbon guy, but he loves the hype stuff that And I don't blame him. It's in the bourbon groups. So anyway, I'm like, man, there's this other tequila that I would love to get my hands on. So I asked the guy, and I was like, "Do you have anything like crazier than this?" He goes, "I might have 2 bottles of something left." And I was like, "Is it Tears?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I said, he's like, "You want it? That's the only 2 bottles I got left." And I was like, "Man, I don't know, dude. I don't really want to drop $250 right now, How to explain this to my wife? And I just did explain it to her.
It was worth it. Look at all these photos.
Anyways, so I'll hear about this one later.
You spent how much?
Yeah.
You told me it was 100.
But my buddy Rob, he's like, "I'll take one," and like knows nothing about it.
Right.
And he's like, "What is it?" And I was like, "It's like the end all be all right now." And he's like, "I'll take it." So I'm like, "Well, now I can't. If you're buying over here buying 2 bottles of tequila, I'm the tequila guy. I got nothing in my hands."
Yeah.
Right.
So I was like, "Give me the other bottle."
Yeah.
So I bought it, and hey, it was worth it just for this, like for us to be able to share that one, and I think it was well worth it.
No,
Sorry,
that
my wife.
is worth it. And what's interesting, it's just like last time when we had the Volcano. Once we had that, all the other tequilas were like, meh.
You had that one little small expensive bottle, and it
was
wasn't near as good.
No,
Right,
nothing compared to
right.
that. Nothing compared to that, and it cost more.
What was that one?
I don't remember the name of it. That's how good it was.
Yeah.
Is I don't remember the name of it.
Yeah,
But,
exactly.
But I mean, like one thing, like we were talking about Centenario. Like to me, it's a $25 bottle, but the life experiences that came with that bottle and the memories I made while drinking Centenario, it's like.
And Corralejo got that way because
Yeah.
in the beginning when I first started drinking Coralejo, I could get it for $21 a bottle.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. And then like as time went by, it went to 28, then 35. I'm like, oh, okay. People are starting to realize this is a great tequila.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a picture of me holding a big old bottle of it like a baby because, I got a great deal on it. But but to me, again, it's always about the, our greatest memories are attached to smell. And when you have a great moment like this, if I ever, if I had this smell again, I will remember this moment. When my son was a baby, certain smells when he was a baby, I'll smell them again. And I remember, my grandson, when I have certain smells or something, it's always that too. And that to me, I think is worth more than anything else is having things attached to memory. Memories attached to certain products or smells or even clothing, things like that. You wear. Oh man, I remember I wore this shirt when we went and we did this. We're all wearing 7th Tap shirts, by the way.
Yeah, we are.
Responsible.
Repping. Well, look, guys, it's been fun today. I could do this for another hour, but we got shit.
Oh, we will. We're just gonna turn the camera off.
But no, again, I appreciate you guys. This shit's been good. We'll do it again. Maybe we'll do it with some mezcal.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll pair some food. Who knows what we're gonna do?
Yeah, let's do something again. I'm down.
Potluck it.
Good time, guys. Everyone, please subscribe to the podcast.
All right. Peace.
Thank you.